Hey friend, welcome to the Badass is the New Black podcast, where our motto is done is better than perfect. I'm Chrissy Chin, here on a mission to help you grow your business online, turn your leads into lifelong customers, and scale to six figures and beyond so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more. Most importantly, I'm a laid-back wife, a mom, a friend who started as a peds nurse, turned network marketer, and now a serial entrepreneur. This podcast is for ambitious people with an idea, a vision, but no idea how to get there. On this podcast, I'll give actionable steps to keep you moving forward while you learn new business strategies, better systems and processes, marketing, sales, all the things you need to build and scale a blissful business that keeps your pocketbooks growing. Grab a beverage, open up your notes app, and let's get to it. Today, I'm excited to talk to Quayjo about Facebook ads. Quayjo is the host of the Art of Online Business podcast with 849 episodes and 4.92 million downloads. Oh my goodness. A meta ads manager and online business strategist specializing in serving established online course creators with annual earnings ranging from $250,000 to $1.2 million. But unlike most ads managers, he doesn't just bring in quality leads. With over 3 years of experience, he excels in optimizing funnels and providing marketing, sales, operations, and hiring guidance, all of which enable his clients to work less, earn more, and live the life they were meant for. And y'all know that I love that. It's like my love language. So we are so aligned here. Since January of 2020, Quayjo has resided in central Mexico with his wife, his 2 kids, after an ill-timed vacation right before the pandemic started, ending his 12 years of living in China. He speaks fluent Mandarin Chinese, decent Spanish, and firmly believes that everyone should experience international travel and engage with different cultures. Quayjo, I could not be more excited to have you here in a virtual room with me and on the podcast. Welcome.
It's an honor. Thank you for having me here, Chrissy.
Yes, spoiler alert, y'all. Quayjo is going to be our December Access the expert who's coming in. So for those of you who don't know, maybe this is your first time listening to the podcast, every month we bring in a new expert and have them deep dive on a topic to help you grow your business. I will share all of those details about that training that he's going to do at the end, or you can find them in the show notes to sign up and come for free. Oh my God, it's going to be amazing. But before we dive into this topic, we need to rewind and just talk a little bit about this whole China thing. How did you end up there? Because, I'm a white girl, but my last name is Chin. So I've got some China roots here in the family. So how did you end up in China?
So I have always been in love with living in China ever since I studied there in university. And then back in 2009, I got married to my wife. And she at the time was living in Mexico. And so I convinced her to take the trip with me and just relocate to China. She agreed, cried for the first year, and then fell in love with it. And we lived there until 2020.
Oh my God. Okay. Am I allowed to ask how you two met? She's in Mexico, you're in China, nowhere close. How did this happen?
So you could ask as many questions as you want. Like I said, I'll give you a brief answer. If you want more details, you can tell me. But we both met in Seattle, Washington, and we were both doing an internship program at our church there. People are like, churches can have internship programs? It's just like if you want to be like an engineer or programmer at Microsoft, you could intern. And if you wanted to go into the ministry or just be a leader at a church, you could intern in our church. And that's where we met.
Okay. Oh my God. I love it. I did not know these details about you before, connecting more. Quayjo is another amazing human being from the Mixer Mind. Y'all know we've had several of the amazing business owners from there here on the podcast in the Access the Expert. So, we're just starting to get to know each other over the last couple months, and I didn't know these details. So I'm so excited to learn this about you and this little small connection. I hope to make it to China someday here to
Oh, you gotta go. You gotta go.
The routes. I'll be sure to look you up for the itinerary and all of the details and the places to go for sure. Okay, so let's dive in to talk about Facebook ads. I know there's like a lot of thoughts around Facebook ads or meta ads. Should I do them? When should I do them? I don't know if it's a good idea. So, like, I just want to get to like the meat of things and talk about this. Meta ads, Facebook ads are something that we incorporated into our business, not in the very beginning. We grew organically, very big, very fast. And then we're like, okay, let's dive into ads. Dove into that and found a ton of success through Facebook ads. And then it was like the big thing, of the iOS shifting and changing, and
Mhm.
so then ads got really expensive for us. And then we decided to shift what we were doing. And so we're like, okay, let's not do ads. And we've gone back to it. But this is such a great topic and why I wanted to bring it on, not only to the podcast, but to the Access the Experts, is because the audience here, they want to grow their business fast. They want to, they're stepping into like their big girl and their big boy pants of their business and like getting serious and wanting to grow it and wanting to increase profits fast. Like, right? Like we all want fast
Sure.
results. And organic strategies are great. We should all do them. But I have also found that paid ads are a great way to grow faster. So that's why I wanted to bring this conversation here because I think they can be a great value add to our business, but address some of the do's and the don'ts with Facebook ads, right? And that we should consider.
Sounds good.
So, talk to me more about, it being like a pay to play situation where like, oh, if I need to have a lot of money up front to be able to do ads. So if I don't have thousands of dollars to be investing in ads every single month, then it's not something I should do. Talk to me more about that.
Well, that would be one example of a limiting belief. You don't need a lot of money for ads to be successful. While it is true that the more data points the algorithm has to optimize on your business, the better ads could work for you. And that could happen if you have a larger ads budget. But we should think about successful Facebook ads as related to how successful our offer is already doing in our business organically and how much profit is happening when we're launching our offer or selling our offer monthly to an email list, what have you. But that's what really will make ads successful, an offer that's already working.
Okay, yeah. So let's dive into that a little bit more. Because I think you're kind of alluding to like when is the time that we should start to consider ads? I'm hearing that a little bit in when
Mhm.
your offer is working. So do you want to elaborate a little bit more on like when is the right time? Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I'm like just starting my business. This isn't the time for ads. So yeah, let's dive into
Yeah.
that.
Well, yeah, because people would think, oh, we need a lot of money in order to make like our ads successful. But if the offer is already working well, then you can spend like as much or as little money as you need for as much or as little extra profit as you would like, right? It's sort of like we see these tall skyscrapers and they seemingly go up really quick, but actually a ton more time is spent digging that foundation down into the ground. And so when I say, let's first look at the offer to make sure it's successful, we're talking about that foundation with which we can pour Facebook ads fuel on an already burning fire or build a Facebook ads building on top of a solid foundation. So basic math, and we're not going to go into like crazy math, but basic math is however the listener is selling their offer, do they have some profit in there? Let's take a typical launch that's done every 3 or 4 months, right? You want to look at the total revenue generated from that launch. Hooray. All right. Now let's divide that revenue up by the number of leads that were registered for that launch. And so a super basic scenario is like, let's say we generated X amount of revenue. And those leads that signed up for the launch, we did the math and they're each worth like $50 to the business. Like I have a client who I just wrapped up a launch for, and her leads are worth $322
Nice.
as of the previous launch. We have yet to do this launch debrief. And so when you know how much your leads are worth for a launch, then you know how much you can spend on Facebook ads. And the name of the game is having a big old nice gap between how much your leads are worth and how much your leads cost you. And if you're not quite there yet, just be thinking about whatever I do with Facebook ads, or sorry, whatever I do with my offer, if that's selling directly with Instagram, putting something up about Instagram stories and then selling in the DMs, or if maybe I'm repeatedly selling like a lower ticket offer to my email list every month, just be thinking about how much money total revenue is generated each time and then how many leads there were so that I can know if how much if a lead is profitable, it should be, right? And how much
Right.
profit is there. And then you can factor in a cost that you have to pay to acquire a lead with Facebook ads, and you're off to the proverbial races.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so less about how long you've been in your business. It's not about new versus old. It's about, is your offer currently profitable with the organic strategies that you're using? And
Yeah.
if they are, that is a great sign that you have some type of like good strategy in place for the funnel or the organic strategy that you're using to convert to a sale. And so, like you said, like this is where you can, okay, let's pour fuel on the fire and make it bigger and set it up with an ad to drive more traffic. And I love this concept of, you know, and if you're not like in like launch, like you do live launches, just like be thinking about this, right? Like this leads, dividing the amount of revenue that you've generated and dividing it by the number of leads to say, right, like how much is this lead coming in? It's a really simple way to think about it. To then think about, okay, if that lead is bringing in $50 and it costs me $10 to acquire them, there should be a profit there and we can keep moving forward. So I love this.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm trying to think. I feel like I had a question pop into my head and then it went out. But that's
That's
okay.
all right.
We'll come back to it.
I'll add
Yeah,
something
yeah, yeah.
quick if you
Add
want to
something,
think.
please.
Like this morning, right before our call, I was on a call with a potential client, and we were looking at running an SLO funnel with ads, as in ads to a low ticket offer that has a small order bump and a one-time offer upsell, right? And partway through our call, I asked her, like, what are you currently doing with the leads? Because she's running ads already to her lead magnet. And she says, oh, these leads are coming in, really inexpensively at $1.67 per lead. And then every 2 weeks, she tells me that she has a launch, like a webinar for her paid offer. And I'm like, every 2 weeks, that's intriguing. And she says, well, it converts really well. And I'm like, hold on a second. You're only spending this much a month on leads, but then every 2 weeks you're having like a webinar that converts profitably. She's like, yeah. I'm like, have your VA look at the total value, like revenue from that biweekly, twice a month
Right.
webinar, and then look at all the leads that you're tagging and come up with like a simple, like, just see, are leads coming in directly and converting within a month? Are the sales that originate from leads happening like over the course, like after lead has been on the list 2 months? But I was like, you got to figure that out. She's like, I don't know that answer. I'm like, there could be a ton of money right there waiting to come into your business, depending on how the leads are converting in your webinar, but your webinar is already profitable. So let's follow those success clues back. And maybe you just need to like 4x the amount that you're spending on Facebook ads to like 3x your revenue like right away, So it's
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love this. And just that reminder, and this is like what we teach when we're teaching people how to set up their website and their lead magnet, their free gift, right? To get on their email list. Like the importance of making sure that that lead magnet is tied so closely, like the first step to your offer to lead them right into that thing, right? Like that brings us really quality leads. So if you're following what Claire and I teach, like we dive deep into that strategy. And I know you work with your clients too, to like, let's look at the funnel. When we were chatting not that long ago, because we had reset up ads, of course, y'all, I'm in like Quayjo's DMs and he's like, oh gosh, another message from Chrissy, right? And I'm just like, okay, we've got this quiz, that we're doing. And the leads are a dollar and down to $1.40, which is amazing. But then that call to action to get them into the masterclass, like you're like, let's look at the conversion in terms of, and that's just free offer to free offer, then to paid offer. So this is even, I guess the word clunky kind of comes into my mind, but it's a
Oh,
longer transition,
yeah.
right? To get to that paid offer. So it's just like being aware of that and knowing and understanding. But I just haven't been happy with, okay, quiz, then how many people are actually signing up for the masterclass, and then converting. So it's like, all right, maybe we need to like switch it up and run ads straight to the masterclass, right? Like avoid
Maybe,
that middle
right?
area. So it's like there's so many like ways to do, but just that importance of, again, and just going back to, like, if you've got a really great lead magnet, which it sounds like she did and does, right? Like bringing in leads at just $1.50 and then them converting. Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity for like, okay, let's turn to some ads for this. So that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
I love that.
You
What
remember your
about,
question now?
I don't remember that question, but I feel like I have so many more questions, and I'm glad we get to like dive into some here and then continue the conversation in December as well. Um, but we've talked about like, don't need to be a new business or an old business, it's more about the offer. What
Mhm.
about like trying ads before? And I feel like this kind of transitions into a little bit what we're talking
Mm.
about. Like I've tried ads before and they didn't work for me. Like let's hear some of that because I think that's happened to a couple of people. Like they've played around with it and they're like, oh, I just can't figure it out. In my mind, I'm like, sounds like you need to hire someone who knows what they're doing to support.
Right. Well, I mean, there's two scenarios. Like, I always dig in a little deeper. When somebody says they've tried ads, I find that a larger than I had hoped for percentage of people, when they say tried, they meant they fell, into the temptation to boost an Instagram post.
Mhm.
And I want to say boosting an Instagram post, as much as Instagram loves it, that is not trying Facebook ads. That's just giving Instagram money. It doesn't even equate really to leads. We got to think a step further, which is if I boost a post, Instagram is literally telling me right below, this post had like reached more people than normal. Would you like to reach more? It's not saying, would you like to grow your business? It's not saying, would you like to boost this post that's aligned with the main offer that you're trying to sell or a lead magnet even? It's just saying, we could show more people this post. And so we hit that button. And it's so tempting, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it doesn't do anything except for grow our Instagram, which I mean, we all know that not all Instagram followers end up doing business with us. Otherwise, let's just grow to 100,000 on
All
Instagram
right.
and call it a day. But that happens before. And then there's the other kind of online coach, membership owner, course creator, service provider who had tried ads maybe with an agency and they got burned. And me as a Facebook and Instagram ad manager, my heart goes out to that person because like that does happen. But I just want to encourage you, like when you approach it the right way from a place of an offer that's already doing well and profitable and you learn enough so that you're quote unquote dangerous so that you can either run the ads yourself or hold the person who's running your ads for you accountable um,
Mhm.
to get that performance, to give you stats that actually tell the true story. Facebook and Instagram ads can work. I'm here to tell you that. I'm not here to say they're absolutely the way for your business, but they do work.
They are still working. So that's encouraging to hear. And you made a really good point that I think is just really great to highlight just as a business owner. You said it's great to have, you said it in different words, but I'll
Mhm.
rephrase and how I heard it, took it
Paraphrase,
in,
paraphrase. Go
which
ahead.
was it's good. You need to know enough or a little bit to be able to assess whether or not the person you hired is doing a good job. Right?
Mhm.
And that goes for anything in your business. So, do you have to become the Facebook ads expert? No, but it's really important to learn these things, even if you are going to turn it over to someone else. Otherwise, you're just trusting that person. And, unless I always like bring really vetted people on here, guys. So I know you guys like lean in and trust the people that I bring in because I do the vetting for you. But there have been, times where people have gotten burned. There have been, not Facebook ads, but like there have been times where I've gotten burned as well. So it is important to know, the basic knowledge of it so you can assess, is this working for me or not?
Yeah.
And from someone who has had someone in the past, a Facebook ads manager running the ads, who hired an agency and didn't have a great experience with that. Not that they weren't working, but like it was just painful working with them and running my own ads. Like there is a lot, there is a lot to learn, and there is a lot of strategy on how to get them to work,
It's a
right?
skill. It's a
And to
skill.
scale, yes. Okay, so can we dive into that a little bit? I know we're
Sure.
gonna like dive in so much more in the training,
Yeah.
but I'm curious as to, because I always go back and forth as I'm playing around with ads now, is like the best ways to target the right people with ads. And I've heard a lot of different things from different people and people who've worked in Facebook and ads managers. So I would love your take on this.
Okay.
Let's go.
The best way to target, and this is going to be like, duh, why would you say this, Quayjo? Is the way that works. So you have to test, and that's like the marketer's traditional cop out. But here's what I mean. You can start with your targeting by looking at what's like the most profitable audience that your business is currently working with. Like in my mind, I like to tell Facebook, hey, here's a list of my customers. Now, these customers are valuable to my business. So Facebook, why don't you I'll give you this list and you give me 2 million people who share like the most similarity to my customers. And that would be maybe the most valuable audience to target first. And maybe the second most valuable audience would just be, it's called a lookalike when you give Facebook your email list and they give you a big old audience, right? Second most valuable audience could be a lookalike of your entire email list. Or maybe your business has a blog and you have a ton of people coming to read your blog every month, in which case you tell Facebook, hey, look at the people who come to my blog over the last like 180 days. Give me a audience of people who are similar to them. Now, like that's what any person who does Facebook ads would say. However, you have to test. There's opportunity out there. And the Thomas Edison quote goes that people miss out on opportunity because it comes dressed in overalls and it looks like work. And the thing is we're not guaranteed that like one audience will work over another audience, but we should then just go ahead and test through those different audiences and be prepared to test quote unquote the 20 ads in
Mhm.
order to find the one ad that outperforms the other 19.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I love that. One thought that popped into my head as you were
Mm.
saying that with the whole like look-alike or polling customers or polling emails. Now you're the expert. So is it still that you need 100, like an email, like a list of 100 emails or 100 customers to put it in there to say, uh, do this? No, he's shaking his head no for those that are listening to the podcast, not watching on YouTube.
So
Okay.
because I lived in China for 12 years, I still always do this. This is 6 in China. It's not hang 10. But you'll want 600 email, like people on your email list before you upload it to Facebook.
Okay,
Um,
600. Okay, so that's even larger.
600.
Okay.
It's more, yeah. Because Facebook creates what's called this lookalike audience, but what they're actually doing is they're taking the people from the email list
Mhm.
and then they're matching those folks with those names and emails to actual Facebook and Instagram user accounts, right? Because Facebook collects like 52,000 data points on every user. It's safe to say they know about you and me, Chrissy, than we know about ourselves. It's
Right.
scary. But what they do then is of the emails that they can match to actual users on Facebook, then they build a lookalike audience or a bigger recommended audience off of similarities based on what they can match. Now, they can only ever usually match 40 to 60%
Mhm.
of the emails. So you want to have 600 people on your email list before you upload it. Same thing for a customer email list. And that's the nitty gritty. I think you got another question about how this could work for your business as far as audiences to target, like the best targeting.
Yeah, well, and before we get into that, I'm just thinking like if someone out there's listening, like, well, geez, I don't have 600, on
Hmm.
my list. But that's where some of those strategies, like you said, if there are people visiting your blog or your website, do y'all ever notice like you visit someone's website and if you don't click the like don't do the cookies, right? Or you're like
Yeah.
accept all, then all of a sudden you log into Facebook, you go on your Instagram, and then boom, there's an ad for them, right? So that tells
Right.
me, right, they're using that strategy of if someone visited my website, let's hit them with an ad, right? And why
Yeah.
are they doing that? They're doing that because you need to get in front of your customer 20 times. I think it's probably up to like 20 now, where it's like, yeah, they have to see you 20 times before they actually
It's higher,
purchase something,
higher
right?
and higher
It's
and
high.
higher. Yeah,
It's
it's
high
high.
now. So it's like, okay, great. They saw me on my website. However, they ended up getting there. And now we're going to show up in their socials. Like we're going to show up in these other places where they are to like bring more brand awareness and like get our message out there. So other than like, okay, they visited my website or my blog, is there one other strategy that could be helpful if you're like, I don't have an email list of 600 that you could lean into to still start your ads?
Sure. And this is encouraging, right? There's hope for somebody who hasn't built the email list yet or doesn't have the website following or readership yet, right? You could build a lookalike audience of your Instagram followers. And if you have nothing else, what you do have as a listener of this podcast, what you do have is an understanding of who is buying your offer
Mhm.
and who best would benefit from it. You can take just that. For example, if you are an architect, for example, you can take just that and go to Google and start researching audiences to target.
Mm.
And without going into tons of detail, what everybody else does, I don't want you or the listener to do. Everyone else will just go and open up Facebook Ad Manager, click in there to something called detailed audience targeting, which, disclaimer, that may change its name tomorrow. Facebook or Meta is always changing Ad Manager. It's like a minefield of mistakes waiting to happen.
And I'm like,
Um,
wait, why is that button not, why is that not here anymore? Where the heck do I find this? Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Like
painful.
it is, and it's different in all of my client. Most of my client accounts don't even look the same because they don't roll out the same changes to the same accounts. It can be frustrating. But still, what most people do, we'll call it the lazy marketer. And if this is you, well, I love you. So they
That's
go into
fine. I'll
detail.
call myself out if it's me.
Go into detailed targeting and just choose some interests. The architect might type in architecture, right? And then they'll have one interest, and then Facebook Meta will recommend other related interests. But the problem with that is that Facebook and Instagram is a marketplace. You're bidding on space in somebody's feed for your ad, and Meta will just serve up these vanilla interests, right? And it does the same thing to everyone. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to go to like Google and just do some basic research. Type in best books for architects, if we're an architect, right? Um, and then see what Google says, put that in a spreadsheet. And then we're going to type in best events for architects, see what Google says, put that in a spreadsheet, and so on and so forth. Best blogs, best publications, periodicals. And then what we do is we take our new spreadsheet that represents a ton of interest for architects, and we start one by one putting those into Facebook Ad Manager. And what we will find is a very small percentage of those things are actually targetable mini audiences. And those audiences are never suggested by Facebook ads, by Meta. And so then what happens is now we're in a different level where we're targeting folks that are effectively under targeted, thus we don't have to pay as much. And that is a way that you can build targeting and increase your chances of it working in like a great way for your business, even if you don't have the Instagram following, the email list, or a website readership.
Oh my God, you're hired. No,
All right, let's go. Let's go.
I love
I
this.
want this to work for people.
I
Facebook
love
ads
this.
does work.
This is a great hack. And it's actually like, I'm just thinking about all the foundation pieces that, a lot of people skip over or don't realize they're not doing. But like with this whole like avatar or knowing your audience, like there's a
Mhm.
reason why there's questions that are like, who does your ideal customer read? Like what books are they reading? What blogs, what podcasts are they listening to? The
Mhm.
more you know about them and what they're interested in, you can do things like this hack, and if you don't, like it's time to start researching. So I love that, like what we teach in some of our foundations of like getting your business foundation set up, you're going to use this knowledge that you're discovering there, bringing it into your Facebook ads, and it's going to help you find better people at a lower cost. Those were the
Mhm.
two things that I heard and pulled from there and was like, love that even more. Right?
Right,
Oh,
right.
that is juicy. That is juicy. Okay, like what else do I need to know? I love this.
I mean, so let's go from what we just said one step further, which is when you know who you serve, when you know like the core pain point that your offer solves, and then the frustrations that stem from that pain point, i.e., you have for example, a dog obedience course, and you understand somebody can take this course and in 30 days their dog will be able to sit on command and not disobey, so to speak. But then you also know the different frustrations that that dog owner might experience from an unruly dog. We're talking about the embarrassment of neighbor kids being scared to walk in front of your house, to maybe that lawsuit that happened because your dog broke out of the yard, so to speak, and bit the granny across the street. Like these different frustrations, if you know those, then you can proceed to test those frustrations in your ad copy
Mm.
along with different ad creative and just keep testing, right? To see what combination is going to work better. Because that's another way that folks leave money on the table or say that Facebook ads didn't work for them because they had one piece of ad copy and they tried like one or maybe two different pieces of visuals to go with their ad. And then that combined with subpar testing, and they never arrived at the best ad combination. So let's test a little more. People say, oh, ads don't work, or oh, it's election year. Ads are going to get more expensive. Maybe somewhat, but to the person who is willing to do the work, they can find the ads combination that works well for their business. Just takes a little work, like everything worthwhile in life.
Yeah, of course. Like this is a process, it's a journey. We do have to test, we do have to explore, try new things. So I think like it's just important to remember to have the patience for there and get the support from someone who really knows what they're doing, right? Because
Yeah.
you haven't dove into the ads manager. Like I have spent hours. I'm like, why have I spent hours trying to figure out how to upload the email list? Like it's just, it can be time consuming, right? Rachel's eyes are going big, like, oh my gosh, this is what we're dealing with here.
No,
So
no,
like
no. We all do
finding
it.
someone who like can just again teach you at least what you need to know to be knowledgeable in this area. If you're going to hire it out, to be able to gauge if they're, doing a good job or not. And if you want to do it yourself, like find that person. Like, and Quayjo's a great person to teach you how to do it. I have one other thing. I typed a note here. It says local. So because I didn't want to forget.
Local. Local.
What
Okay,
about
before you say that
local?
thing,
Okay, yes.
before you say that thing, I was not rolling my eyes at you like,
No,
oh my
I
gosh,
didn't think you
Christian,
were
how could you
rolling
take so
your
long?
eyes. I was just like, his eyes got big.
No, no, no. I coach like for the person who it doesn't make sense business profit wise yet to hire a Facebook ad manager, but they're running Facebook ads. Like I do one-on-one coaching. And I just want to say you're not the only one
Mm,
who it takes a bit to like find these things. But you know what? Like we all pay what's called the ignorance tax. Like we do, and it should be paid. Pay it in the form of like getting advice from somebody who knows what they're doing. Pay it in the form of taking a course that allows you to correctly run your ads. It has to be paid one way or the other. We have to learn,
right.
but
Or
you're
you're
not the only
paying
one.
it in ways in time where you're trying to like fumble through and figure it out for 10 hours. So would you rather waste that 10 hours? Like how valuable is your time, right?
Yeah,
Like, oh, I want to sit here and fumble around for 3 hours trying to figure out how to upload this email list, or I'd rather pay for this course and get a whole lot more information. Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Such a
What's
good
your
point.
local question?
My local question is for, we do have a lot of people on here that are growing digital businesses online, whether it's courses or communities or things like that. But they also, a lot of people have local services. So I'm talking
Oh,
like massage therapists or doing things where they have to we have a lot of healers in our community. So they need to be in that space. So is this a good idea for people with that need a local audience?
yeah. Folks who have a local audience for a service that they provide, that's almost the easiest way or to run Facebook ads. Like no brainer. You got to think about it. Like people who have a local business, let's call it a brick and mortar business or a service that they provide to the neighborhood. They're used to advertising on things like billboards if they have a big old budget, or maybe they're handing out flyers door to door, or maybe they're putting, like advertisements on the back of a bench, like that. You see those in various cities. Um,
Right? Like real estate agents, right? Like you've got a
yeah,
local business, right?
yeah,
You need to be
right.
finding the people in your local area. Yeah.
But the thing is like all you have to do is find a good ad that with right messaging and just quote unquote drop a pin like we would on any digital map, but inside of Facebook Ad Manager and say, Meta, show this ad to people who are within 15 miles, 15 miles, 1 5, or 20 miles, however far your customers are coming to your local business, do that research, but then just show the ad to a nice little range around your business address and you're good to go. Like it's really that simple. You can show that ad to folks, and then you can also add a little bit of interest targeting to narrow the type of people who would see your ad. And so like, if you have a dog obedience course and you also do some like in-person training, then if you're showing an ad to people who are within 30 miles of your business and you've narrowed that audience down to folks who are interested in a dog, boom. Like it's great. It's great when you have a brick and mortar business. Facebook and Instagram ads can work for you too.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so we're going to recap. We've established that ads are going to work even if you don't have a lot of money, that we don't need to wait until they're cheaper, right? You were like the whole like economy, not the economy. You said with the election coming up. So when this airs, I think the election will have passed. So we
Oh,
can't
okay.
predict the future on where that
Right.
is. But then there's the holidays, right?
Mhm.
So rumor has it, maybe this is true or not. You can tell us that when the holidays are a time where ads kind of skyrocket, right? Everyone's trying to run a Black Friday and a Cyber
Yeah.
Monday ad and things like that. But there are some things that you can do. And so I guess we didn't really dive into and get a clear, I didn't ask this question clearly is, do you advise that people wait if they're getting started until a time when it's a little less, like in the new year, or is there benefits to still running it in a time where it might be viewed as like a heightened price for ads?
So when we talked at the beginning, Chrissy, we set the standard that like ads, I always say like Jesus saves, Facebook ads do not. So let's see if the offer is already profitable. If the offer is already profitable and there's a healthy profit margin, why would you wait to do the testing to start running ads to something that's more profitable or to something that's already profitable and increase? Like life happens. And when we wait, life tends to happen and throw stuff our way, and we never get to that goal. If the
Mhm.
offer's already profitable, it doesn't matter. Like if I might, by not waiting, maybe I could get 50 cents, lower costs on
Mhm.
each sale or each, lead. Maybe, but if I've already done the math and I've already put in the time to get a profitable offer, and like I know that per lead, I'm making $50, I potentially am losing a ton of money by waiting.
Right.
It all
Right.
comes back to, is the situation favorable organically with the offer? And if it is,
Mhm.
depending on how much it is, then it's definitely good to not wait.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that is a great point, right? Like the 50 cents or $3 maybe you're saving on lead gen, you're missing out on all this revenue because we've established that each lead we bring in turns into
Hmm.
$50, right? Not because
Hmm.
everyone's buying a 50, you know, product
Yeah.
at that, but like dividing it over the price. Okay. So this has been great. We know that that if we've got a proven offer, then this is when we should be starting to turn towards ads and explore ads. That it's a really effective way to grow your business fast and increase profit if you're taking all of that into consideration. So I would love to keep this conversation going, and we will. We're going to keep it going at our Access the Expert training, which is happening in December. Again, this is where we bring in an expert. Quayjo is going to dive deep into this topic. He's going to be teaching on a lead magnet. So, lead magnet Facebook ads blueprint. Every online course creator must know. And if you're like, don't consider myself a course creator, this is still going to be really valuable for you. So, I'm really excited. It's happening December 12th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. come live. It's free to come live. Huge benefit to coming live is that you get access to Quayjo. You get to sit in this Zoom room with us. You get to ask him questions about your business. After he does the training, we will leave time for Q&A. So that is a huge value add. You know, you can always hire him one-on-one to do that, but like you're getting the opportunity to do that. So take advantage. The link is going to be in the show notes for you. In the meantime, Quayjo has a gift for you that you can already dive in and get going. It's the 7 biggest Facebook ad mistakes that course creators make that'll burn through money and kill results. Is there anything else that you want to share about that free gift?
It's not free lead magnet fluff. It's me screen sharing based off of my experience coaching ads and going into Ad Manager and pointing the mistake out and then also showing the solution right there. It's great for those of you who are going to start managing ads or curious to get that basic knowledge so that you can know what should be working and when something's not working. Yep. Go get it.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to include that link. So you have 2 things to do. Sign up for the Access the Experts for December 12th. If you're listening in the future or you can't come live, still sign up or go to that link. We'll give you options, okay? And then grab that freebie because it's no fluff and you're going to actually learn a ton from it. Quayjo, where is the best place for our listeners to connect with you also in the meantime and get more of you?
In the meantime, in between time, on Instagram DMs at QUAYJO. So that's my Instagram account. You can DM me. Otherwise, just come listen to my podcast, The Art of Online Business podcast, where I interview all sorts of very cool people who serve the online course creator and online coach, online service provider niche. So you learn tips and tricks and strategies to grow from, say, mid 5-figure months up to high 6-figure years. The Art of Online Business podcast.
Yes, I love it. So we'll leave the link before that. I know we've talked about like having me come on there. You can pick me apart.
You're going to be on there. Yep.
Let's do it. Let's do
sure.
it. All right. This has been amazing. I appreciate you so much for coming, sharing your knowledge, being with us. Friends, I will be here next week with a huge announcement that is going to shock you. It's been something Claire and I have been thinking about for a year now, and it's finally time to share the news. So come back, same time, same place, and Claire and I will fill you in. We'll see you later. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you got some value out of this episode, I would love some support. And the best way to do that so I can keep showering you with loads of actionable tips is to hit that subscribe button. Leave a review or a comment if you're on YouTube and share this podcast with a friend. And when you share it with a friend on social, please tag me so I can reshare your share in my stories. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out. I appreciate the heck out of you for showing up. And now it's time for you to take imperfect action so you can work less and enjoy and earn a whole lot more.